Okay, so it is still in the 30s, but the high today is 30s. If you really want a garden that's thriving, you need to focus on a lot of these plants so you can have less disease problems, less pest problems, and be able to enjoy your plantings more. Still really cold, but I was really excited to come out and look at the plants that have survived. First, let me show you this watering can so you can see how cold it is. I just had it where I normally have it to catch drips off of the roof, and a solid block of ice. So I'm going to take a quick walk around to show you the things that survived spending a whole day below freezing. This is the verbena. This is the Homestead Hot Pink Verbena. It looks amazing. It looks like nothing happened. But this one, being all the way out and near these bricks right here, was exposed to the absolute coldest temperatures, and it looks untouched. Right next to it is the bulbine, and it's definitely wilted. It will probably look like wet noodles within a day or two. So it's easy to tell that this dwarf Mexican petunia, you know, it's done. It'll come back, no problem, from the roots and from seeds. So I'm not worried about this. That's why I didn't cover them. But the other thing that I'm seeing is I'm seeing all those bulbs that I planted popping up. The ones I planted that I wasn't sure about. But I guess I need to be careful where I step because I don't want to step on any. I don't want to step on any. This is the salvia, white salvia. Looks amazing. You know, it looks a little unhappy. That's all I can say. It just looks a little unhappy, but it's not kaput or anything like that. This curry plant, again, it's not the culinary version, but I've never grown it before. I just saw it for sale and I bought it, and already it's impressing me far beyond my expectations. Coneflower, I knew it was a winner, and there it is. It looks untouched. The only things that looks a little sad are the actual petals of the plant, but it still looks great. The lantana looks just like anticipated. So right here is a rock rose. It's not the pink variety. It's like a white flower with a maroonish center that I haven't seen before in another garden. I just happened to get it from a nursery. I'm glad I scooped it up because look at it. Looks like nothing happened, and it's actually got buds on it. And believe it or not, this is in the hibiscus family. That's another thing to note, that this rock rose is in the hibiscus family. So it gives you that same pretty open hibiscus shaped tropical flower. They still last one day just like regular hibiscus, but it's an evergreen, so it's perfectly hardy. So if you haven't considered growing rock rose in your garden and you live in this zone, zone 9A, zone 9B, or South Texas, or probably anywhere in Texas, this is definitely one to consider. The Louisiana iris over there and over here looks fantastic, like nothing happened. All the dark purplish looking leaves that are wilted and kind of cooked looking, those are all different varieties of Mexican petunia. Like those are the tall Mexican petunia, and over here is the dwarf Mexican petunia, and that should be anticipated of them. This is Angelonia, which is a perennial, should come back. Here is more verbena looking untouched, and right here, but these green leaves you see right here is a plant called Coreopsis, and this is a great evergreen in Texas. Look at this. I mean, it looks fantastic. The Mexican petunia is dying back, and nobody's going to miss that. And actually, some of this is the wild petunia too. But anyway, back to the Coreopsis. This plant right here is a great ground cover that puts up yellow flowers at intermittent times of the year. As from my experience, it seems to be a pretty sporadic bloomer, but very reliable in the springtime. But then after that, it kind of just blooms intermittently. Okay, back here is plumbago, and it's kaput. This is the white variety, and it's much more aggressive than the blue variety if you were considering growing one or the other. The blue variety is, you know, it's not really hard to grow, but it's harder to grow than this white variety here. So I planted it behind the sunshine ligustrum years ago. No water, no nothing, and it's doing fine. Here's some more Louisiana iris. This is Arabian jasmine. The reason why it looks okay is because it's partially under this tree. The parts that are more exposed aren't quite as happy, but overall it still looks pretty decent. So that's a really great plant. And that Arabian jasmine is just one of my favorites anyway, above all jasmine. Here is the black-eyed Susans. We spent over a whole day below freezing, and 12 hours of that was in the mid-20s. These black-eyed Susans look great. This is that foxglove plant that I need to still identify, but this is why I want to identify it, because look how perfect it looks. And it makes a really pretty flower in the spring, but it's a very tight mat of ground cover clustering leaves that are really, really pretty. I love their shape. I love their color. They have like a purple vein going down them, but you know, it only puts up blooms in the spring, but I just love it for its, or I've come to love it for its growth habit. I just love how tidy it is, and I love how it keeps out weeds. This is the ground cover right here is the wild petunia, which again, these are all things that I want to dye back. Now, this is my lemongrass. This is one of the plants that I do not cut back until springtime. It can be a little fussy. I don't cut this back until like March or so, because it has a, you know, it will struggle to come back if it's cut too soon. So I do let all the leaves stay on there to keep that crown insulated. This is a fire bush down here. It's a dwarf variety of fire bush. Dyed back, but in front of that is more coreopsis. That's again looking amazing. This is the fire bush right here, all dead. This is the coreopsis. So right here is lantana. It's just a mounding type, a small mounding type. You know, it will get cut back once we pass all this bad weather. This is some more rock rose, and let me just show you. This is the same variety as on the other end of the garden. But do you see the flower buds? This is in the hibiscus family, and it has flower buds on it, which is amazing. And just look, it's literally looks untouched. Regardless of the crazy low conditions we just had, this plant is still thriving and happy. It's so cold. I don't know how much longer I can take being out here in the cold, but I'm determined to share all these plants with you because they're extremely low maintenance and high performing. And that's the key here. If you really want a garden that's thriving, you need to focus on a lot of these plants so you can have less disease problems, less pest problems, and be able to enjoy your plantings more. This one probably doesn't get enough sunlight, but considering that, I'm still very happy with its performance. Okay, this is the Texas native peppers. I can't remember how to say it, but it's chitlin or chillin peppers. I will put the name on the screen, but check it out. It looks great. After the freeze, it's doing fine. And the African irises that I transplanted back here not long ago, they're looking fine. This lantana looks like it's supposed to look, bitten. This is my frog sanctuary. The crotons that I didn't cover clearly are not looking too happy. I just want to see what it's, see what this one is. Okay, so this is the Gerber daisy right here. I'm just going to uncover it for the day so it can breathe. And then, okay, so this is the croton that I put the pot cover over. And this is the Gerber daisy that I put the pot cover over. This is the croton that did not get covered up right here. And then there's another one over here that I didn't put a pot over, but you can see just that pot, just putting that pot over it was enough in that freezing, hard freeze weather to keep that alive, which I'm really impressed with. I'm very happy with those results. This is a dwarf yaupon, a great low mounding shrub, evergreen. If you have a small space that you want something that's so low maintenance, what I love about this shrub is it's sun or shade. It can grow in sun or shade. It needs very little care. It's very low demand, and once it's established, it's pretty drought tolerant too. It has the most versatile function and highest performance and least demand, because I've never seen one go wrong. This is a canyon daisy, definitely got nipped. This is a flame acanthus. These are both Texas native. Did not expect them to survive this freeze because they get way too big. If they don't die back, they're actually a pain in the butt to take care of. So if they don't freeze back, I cut them back anyway because they just get too big. I'm really surprised about this African iris too. I've had winters where they just seem to die back so easy, and with as long as we stayed in the 20s, I would have expected that to die back as well. Okay, so here's rain lilies right here. These rain lilies were left out here uncovered in this pot during the entire freeze, and they look perfectly fine. Such a great plant. And this is oregano. You know, oregano is a great little evergreen plant that I think is overlooked a lot. To think this isn't part of any irrigation, and we just had a freeze and it's still looking great. I do love that plant, and I love it for its ornamental purposes along with its culinary purposes. That is the culinary oregano. That's the culinary oregano, but it's the hot and spicy version. So if you like spice, that's a good one to get. It gives just a little kick. I mean, I even like eating it raw. It's got a really nice little kick at the end, but it's not like a jalapeno hot. It's just got a little kick. Okay, I had to adjust my ear muffs. When that wind blows, it's just so cold. Okay. So cold. Okay, so now I'm going to show you one of the sorriest and saddest looking plants after a freeze. And it's funny because it's actually one of my favorites, and this plant, I don't want to say it's controversial, but so many people hate it. You either hate it or you love it. I love it. I've never had a problem with it, but for some reason I just hear people complain about it. And this plant's called purple oxalis. And again, you either love it or you hate it, but I've always met more people that hate it than love it. But this is one of the saddest looking plants after a freeze. I never bother covering it because it always comes back, and I really feel like it benefits from the little vacation that it gets from a freeze. But look how sad it looks. I mean, this is sad. This looks like a bowl of wet spaghetti. It's just really pitiful, but it's okay. It's totally okay. Even in this pot, it will come back and it'll be fine. And everywhere that I had this purple oxalis, it looks the same, even in the ground. That's all through here. And before the freeze, the purple oxalis was mixed in with these vincas. And you can see that the vincas are left, they're doing great, but the purple oxalis, it has a big struggle with the freeze. So this whole pot right here had a mixture of perennials in it, and this evergreen nandina right here, which looks fine. But this is, I need to cut it back, but this is the aster. I just hadn't had a chance to cut it back. And then there was some oxalis in here, but there's also the verbena, which is happy, and it's trying to come up and do its thing. But I also didn't cut this back in time, but I'm hoping maybe, look at all this aster down here trying to come up. Look at that. Okay, I didn't even know all that aster. Oh my, I'm wanting to go get my cutters right now. I just can't believe. I didn't see it before because the oxalis was so fluffy. I had no idea all that aster was trying to mound up again. Okay, so right here is a nandina. This is why whenever I see people and other gardeners preach to leave everything in place as it dies for insulation, there is some truth to that, but this is one of the variables that I really feel like it's not preached enough, and most people don't know enough about. But right here, this elephant ear leaf is laying on top of a nandina. If I leave it there, then the rot could spread. It has already made that little area of the nandina unhappy compared to the rest. So as I'm walking through, if I move something, that's why. It's because I just don't want it to interfere with the health of plants that aren't supposed to be died back right now, and they don't need the insulation. So you don't want that happening. You really want to keep those conditions airy and open and able to get sunlight. For any plant that is an evergreen or that's a perennial that happens to not die back in this type of weather, you want to keep the air circulation open and sunlight able to get to those plants so they can perform for you. Because otherwise you're creating conditions that are more favorable for an insect or disease, and that's really inviting more problems to your garden, and that's what you want to prevent. Those are the types of little things that go a long way in having a healthy garden. This flame acanthus right here, this one looks fine. It looks like nothing touched it, but because it's under this evergreen, I guess next to this tree, the conditions were just right that it looks fine. And here's all my spider plants. that I showed right before the freeze. How nice and fluffy they were. So I have several more gardens to go check on after this big freeze. The other gardens have other plants in them besides this. So if you're interested in learning more about what kind of plants can survive this weather, then be sure to subscribe because I've got plenty more gardens to visit.